It's been a couple of weeks because Rook's been on his school holidays, and I just wanted to concentrate on kind of hanging out with him and getting as much time as possible with him as I could. And it's been pretty great. We did a couple of road trips, but his first day back at school was today after the holidays, and something happened after school. We were out in the garden because the seeds that we planted a few weeks ago getting way too big for their containers, so we were repotting them in the garden, just into bigger pots. We were taking everything out into the front yard, and we were the only people in the house today. So Rook thought he was helping when we were walking out, and he actually closed the main front door as we were walking out. And I was intending on keeping that open, and so obviously we were locked out. It wasn't too bad because it was really sunny today. There's other people in my family that have keys. I wasn't too worried about it. I didn't have my phone though either, that was locked in the house, so the problem we had was that I couldn't contact anyone to let them know I was locked out. The neighbour and some family friends around the corner, they actually tried to help us out. We took Rook's little scooter and we scooted around. He gave me a backie, or I gave him he was on the front, I was on the back. It's faster when I do it. But we went round and, they tried to help us out, and unfortunately we couldn't get a hold of anyone, so I headed back to the house and we were just hanging out in the garden. It was my sister that came back to let us in. So we were just hanging out in the garden. We were outside for probably about an hour just chilling. That's probably the longest I've not had my phone on me during waking hours for as long as I can remember, over an hour, which is pretty scary. And what I found was, at first I was kind of panicking a little bit because I was thinking if someone's trying to get hold of me about work or something happens at the studios or, blah blah. So I was kind of worried, and then I just kind of let go of it, and I was like, there's nothing I can do, right? So I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to enjoy hanging out with Rook and being completely, there with him, not thinking of. And it really made me realise that I do kind of, as much as I try and be present with Rook when I'm hanging out with him, I'm addicted to my phone. I'll take it out, and even if there's been no notification, I'll just look and I'll scroll for a minute and then put it away. It's like I can't be just resting and doing nothing. And I really want to change this because I remember a time when I wasn't like that, and I didn't have to rely on a phone or a laptop to keep my mind busy. Because the thing is, right, if you don't get bored, and I was reading this article about kids, it's good to let kids get bored sometimes because it allows them to use their imagination and it allows them to be creative, and that's when they come up with some of their better ideas, when they're bored, because they're forced to be in their own mind and think about things. And I've realised, and I suppose this is very similar for a lot of different people, but because I'm not sort of sitting down and having silence or just having some music on in the background maybe, because I do have music on a lot in the background, but I feel that I can concentrate and I'll do my paintings and stuff. I can focus on something with music on in the background, so it's not the same kind of distraction. But I've realised that I'm not allowing myself to have those periods of time where I'm forced to really think about too much, and that kind of worried me. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm not allowing myself to be in a productive state of mind if I'm not sort of gearing down a little bit. I really love writing my little blog posts and doing these, and it's just, I guess the reason I enjoy it so much is it kind of forces me to sit down, as it always has done when I sit and write in a journal. It forces you to sit and contemplate what it is you want to sort of project onto the paper or onto a screen. It really makes you think. I found myself in the garden before with Rook. We went on the scooter up and down the street a few times, and we finished planting up the rest of the pumpkin plants, and then we spent about 20 minutes just throwing a little bit of stick through the gaps in the front gates on the garden. It was amazing. It was just really fun, and it kind of, it was just fun and simple, and it made me start thinking. Even though I was doing something with Rook, I was still I had space to think at the same time about how I felt about what was happening and not having my phone. And yeah, I get it, phones are great, especially for someone that's self-employed like myself. Social media is a great platform. It's helped so many people who have different skills or different passions to be seen so many musicians and artists that would not have been seen by anyone before, no matter how talented they are. They just wouldn't have had the capability of being seen by the general public because they didn't have this platform. So it's amazing. It's amazing that these things exist, like Instagram and Facebook and, you know, all the rest of it. So yeah, there's all these great things that happen because of social media, but at the same time, you can just get sucked in. Like, I will get sucked in, and I'm not proud of it, but I will go on my phone. If I get a notification, I'll end up on Facebook or on Instagram, normally Instagram, and I'll just scroll. After Rook goes to bed, for example, I'll sit down, look and see if I've got anything that I need to reply to, and then I'll end up scrolling. 40 minutes has passed without me even realising, and I don't even remember then to get back in touch with the people that I just read a message from, because I've just been distracted by so many hundreds of images that I've just seen that are inspiring and amazing and all the rest of it, but have no real direct relevance to my life, and it's kind of can be more of a hindrance than anything else. So I need to manage my time more on socials is a thing, and another thing as well is I'm going to make a point of kind of starving myself a little bit at certain times of the day, because at first I tried this thing recently, well, it was last year. I tried this thing last year where I was like, I'm only going to look at my phone for half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening, and that's it. It's like the rest of the time it's just there in case there's an emergency and someone needs to contact me. That lasted like less than 2 days because I found it really difficult. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to try and say, for this hour in the morning or this hour in the afternoon or the evening, I'm just going to put my phone away, and I'm going to take away all distractions. No Netflix, no phone. This is after Rook's gone to bed, and I'm just going to sit and I'm going to think about what I want to do, what I want to achieve in the next 5-10 years. What do I want to do to build relationships with people that I care about? Because this is another thing with Facebook. I kind of feel like I'm in communication with so many of my friends and so many of I've got a huge family, and you know, I follow, most of them are on Facebook, and because I like their statuses, or I love their statuses, or I do a little comment, or I say happy birthday or whatever, or cool holiday pictures, I feel like I have this kind of relationship with them, which I do have a relationship with them, they're my family, but also all my friends, but I don't know anything about really what's going on in their life apart from their highlights, which is what everyone in the world knows because they see it on the social media. So I want to make more of a conscious effort to communicate more, even if it is on platforms like Messenger and things like that, because they are very convenient platforms. I just want to really try and make a conscious effort to go deeper with the conversation, because I don't know if they're happy. I want to know if the people I care about are actually happy or not. Not just how cool their holiday was on pictures, but what's making them tick, what their dreams currently are, what's making them sad, are they healthy? I don't know a lot of this stuff about people that I'm actually related to, or people that I've been friends with for a long time, because this kind of Facebook platform and Instagram gives you this kind of sense of community, there is a sense of community, but also we don't actually know that much about everyone. And you know what, maybe I'm the only person in the world that is only realising this just now. Maybe everyone else already knows this, and has already taken steps, and I'm the last person to be doing this, in which case, welcome to the Idiot Show. But yeah, I'm going to concentrate on that. I'm going to concentrate on starving myself a little bit from socials, and not just socials, but shows and things like that on Netflix and Prime, because you just kind of switch off and you just end the show, which is great. But I'm going to make sure I have every day some time for my brain to actually work, and for my imagination to actually work, and for me to think about projects I'd like to do. Because there's a couple that might be in the pipeline, but I've thought of the idea, and then, you know, and I'm not going to say what they are because they're gifts, and I don't want to spoil the surprise, but I've thought about them, and then there's all these other distractions. So, but now I'm going to really concentrate and get them locked in, and start them. And I'm going to try and encourage Rook as well because I ask him the same 3 questions every day when he comes out of school. If there was anything really funny that happened that day, I ask him if there was anything that made him sad, and I also ask him if there was anything that he found particularly hard in his classes. just to see, you know, if he's repeating the same thing every day, or if there's maybe a certain kid that he's struggling with, and maybe we can work on that. And what I really want to do is transplant that kind of system and that level of connection and interest and questions onto other areas of my life, right, other people in my life, because I love those people too, and I want to have as meaningful a relationship as possible with them. It's getting darker and darker in my room. I'm going to switch off my phone and I'm going to sit. I'm going to write some lists is what I'm going to do. And, oh, also, did the big sleep out on Friday, and it was Storm Hannah in Blackpool. And it was horrific, like it was so bad. There were so many points in that evening where I regretted signing up for the big sleep out because it was so difficult. And luckily I'm really short, so they gave us these plastic sacks that you kind of put your sleeping bag in so it stays dry. And because I'm quite short, like most people, their heads were sticking out of these bags in the rain, in the really heavy rain and wind. And I got to, you know, get inside. I was fully inside this plastic bag, like a little, it could have suffocated probably, but it was worth the risk to me. I was inside this bag. It enlightened me. It opened my eyes to really how difficult. I never thought it was a walk in the park for people to sleep rough, but wow, it was horrible. There is a link I'm going to put on the bottom of this video on the YouTube. All of the Scorpion t-shirts and the pin badges for Links Rue. Anyone that buys anything this week of those two things, all profits, 100%, are going to go to Street Life Blackpool, because it's going to go towards money for thermals for homeless youths to have in our community. So it's really, you know, a worthwhile cause. And if you have any spare money and you want to buy a sweet t-shirt or pin, please look out for the link.